get the light bulb. It was like, yeah, I didn't know. I
Yeah.
thought my money just went with me when I changed jobs. It's the simplest things that we are helping people understand. So with that said, we do have we've got some of the folks in the building. Christopher Senegal,
Got some heavy hitters.
Good morning.
baseball. And okay, Mr. Turner, how you doing, sir?
Hey, good morning.
And one more time. Those two have been the ones giving us some ideas and food for thought over the last few weeks, and so we thank God for that. So you want to make sure you get your questions together. May I ask, gentlemen, what's on the menu today? Dum, 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 dum.
Bum, 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 bum.
Is it going to make us run? Is it
Well-
going to make us scared? Is it going to make us feel like
No.
we're doing bad?
It's gonna help you be informed.
There you go.
It's the statement. What's the statement that's out there? Knowledge is power. Well, let's rephrase that.
Uh-oh.
Because my belief is knowledge is potential power. Because if you have all the knowledge in the world and if you're not using it to benefit your life,
Yep.
then it's only potential. Because you're not using it. It's not powerful. So
Right, that's activating.
today, what my gifts are is to help you understand how society gets you, like the song said, in cycles. How the world leads you and have you believe in a certain way because the world sees you as cows. And they are all leading you to the butcher house to be slaughtered.
It's true.
It's already started. Hold on. You gotta give us a minute for that. We didn't no kind of no restroom break, not a Micah Stapler. We didn't get to give a okay. Yes.
So
You said that what?
the world has you believe that as we talk, let's do a little recap. Can we do that?
Oh God.
Last week we talked about the 401ks and how the world has you perceived to believe that you need a lump sum of money at the end of your working life.
Okay.
And what most people don't understand is that at the end, or when you so-called retire, you're supposed to have this lump sum of money. They don't understand that they will be taxed off that money. So once you start putting into your 401k, that's when you are a calf, right?
A calf,
So,
a baby cow.
A baby calf, a baby cow,
Yep.
right?
Can't
So-
hear. Okay, we're getting the mics up. He's turning it up. Thank you.
For
Join the, you can
That's
hear
why
it
they
all the
say-
way.
That's why they have you put into a 401k for 35 to 40 years.
Yep.
So that cow or that calf or that baby can grow up to be a full-born cow. And at that point, when you're ready to retire, is when they take you to the butcher house to be slaughtered. That's when they tax you. So in your mind, they have you believe you're going to have this lump sum of money, and they don't tell you that you will be taxed at the end. So if you think about it, I want you to think, those who are participating in this process, who does the government or what does the government promote the most? 401ks or IRAs or Roth IRAs? One is taxed, one is not. So companies always tell you to put your money in the 401k because that's the one that will be taxed.
Yes.
Wow. Did you know that?
I did. I learned it in a finance class.
And who taught that?
HOH up in
Who
heaven.
taught that class?
I forgot. I really looked at you innocently thinking, forgot that, yeah, you're right.
He taught that class.
Okay.
Go ahead on, Keisha.
I forgot, seriously. It
So-
wasn't like a slide in.
That information and that guidance, if you don't understand, and that's why I always give the understanding of when you go to Walmart and you leave out of Walmart, who do you see?
The
You see a
elderly.
greeter. And that greeter is generally who? An
An
elderly
elderly
person.
person.
So they have followed the process of working for 35 to 40 years for someone putting in the 401k, but they cannot survive off of that money because they've been taxed off of it. In addition to that, Social Security and Medicare is not enough to survive off of it. So they have to go get a supplemental job
Yep.
just to make it.
Yeah.
That's
There you go.
Okay, so he just basically didn't really get into the calf butchering, and that's great. And those that are joining, some of them on Instagram are saying, yes, learn that in class. This is good. So today we're going to see how they integrate this information. If you have questions coming up, get your questions together. Make sure you have them written down. You can call in. And what is that number?
832-685-1025.
Again, that number is.
832-685.
1025.
And they've gotten real good at it. We need to make a commercial.
Like a jingle. Sounds
like a jingles. And there's a commercial that does something with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like a jingle.
It's like a jingle. You just messed my spirit all up with Trump. I just don't feel good.
I didn't want to do that, sis, but I couldn't let that pass.
I guess not.
It had to be addressed.
You know what? Can I get a little Vashawn Mitchell? Let's keep it locked here. Give us a few minutes and you'll get a chance to get your questions together. Give us a little bit of that worship. Nobody greater. Here on the new amazing 102.5 FM. It's your Do Good Through Good station. I'm Wendy J. Turner and this is Hope Over Hurts family. We love you. Keep it locked. All right, Hope Over Her Nation. We're taking a minute if you're joining us online. The family's about to see you, say hello to you, and all that good stuff on you. Good morning, Nation.
Is it supposed to be red?
Stack of money.
Huh?
Yep, that's live.
Yeah, it's recording. Hold on.
And then maybe.
What's up, fam?
Okay.
What's up, Erica? Peace of Truth. What's going on? K Duke. How's it going? Amanda. Peace of Truth. Good morning. Lizzie, good morning. What's up? EA for life, boy.
They need to know why I do
You waving.
And then we can start building on
Good
that.
morning, good morning,
I hope
Martinez,
they
Mel.
can on
I'm
YouTube.
gonna always hit them with that line.
Good morning, Mr. Banks. Woody Jones.
That's right.
That's your praise.
Cam Hill. Good morning,
flag?
Pleasant. Great
Oh,
morning to you.
So,
Terry Lee, what's up, guys? I got it all now.
Make sure you know you can
house
block
being that baby for that
Snell
couch,
Newton.
all these taxes.
Yes.
Brittany Williams, what's up, Britt?
It's all right.
Awesome. Gravy Thurman, good morning to you.
Some
Denise
of these were
Muhammad,
in the
good morning to
finance
you.
class, and that's like, oh my God.
When the air kicks on, it's cold.
Oh, come on. Y'all still dancing?
Still couldn't find nobody.
Times are rough.
Yeah. Oh, he sings this.
Yeah, I wanted to.
I didn't know he
We
sang
need to
that.
be in because we had, I don't know the way
Oh, he is.
I didn't know he sang
A whole lot. She had a gift. What's that guy's name? In the prison?
Oh,
The guy that was on the
Praise
show.
dancer.
Who was the guy over here that was on the show that
Oh,
got out of prison? Jay? Yeah, that's right. So Jay. In the prison.
Are y'all with me on this?
She said, good morning, Rup. I was like, Rup, what is that?
Praise the guy. It was April 8th. Yeah, the face to
Man, yeah, he did 48 or at least
5 years or more. So we praise God for
Y'all dancing with me? Come on, EA.
Okay.
He in that southern part.
Yeah.
I was like,
Couldn't find.
Oh, that'd be great.
yeah,
That'll be
I
great.
looked.
Robin on the phone. Robin told the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Right there.
Yeah, we do that.
See, they can't hear it on the app. If you're not listening on the radio, you can't hear the music. Unless you have two devices. Searched all over. Couldn't find. I can't find nobody. Are you recording me? The devil is a lie. You know, give me a phone. Confiscate all materials. All materials. Can't even praise and dance and worship in this place. All right. Oh, wait. What is up with this? You and Erica have this thing. Your hair is QK.
You don't think my
Hold on.
I know, I mean, it got rained
See, you
on.
come from a very interesting family, so I can say stuff and you actually
You know what I
enjoy
told my
it.
sister that I told y'all about personal thing? She said I ought to do it on Sunday just cause. And When we left?
Oh, she'll listen?
No, I told her.
Oh,
And they think I'm weird. Okay.
They do not think you're weird.
Sure.
I do not say that.
why they think she weird? What she do?
They don't.
All right.
I don't know.
So I have, you know, it's funny. I ain't opened this one in a minute. Because there's been some stuff that's been popping up in my life that these women need to know. I ain't bringing it up today. Oh, but you best to know it's a topic coming up.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
We're taught from a very young age to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We're expected to take the heat, bear the burdens. It's in the book. Sit down. Oh, yeah. Because I'm going to need to go and hand these books out to a few people as gifts so they can understand what their position is. Hi. Hi. I'm going to do it. Hello. That's your sis. You have to hype her up. Instagram says that. We believe you, Instagram and Facebook. Good morning, social media and live studio audience.
Good morning.
That's all of us. Yay! Who's in here getting up early in the morning because they crazy?
Yeah.
We are! You're listening to Rise Up and Pray. Oh, on the new amazing 102.5 FM. It's your Do Good Through Good station. I'm Wendy J. Turner. And guess what? This is Hope Over Hurt. And the team is here. You've got Bishop Bernadette to my left.
Good morning.
You've got Church Mother Merlene to her left.
Good morning.
You've got EA. You've got Veronica by way of Brooklyn. Waves. You've got Christopher Senegal.
Morning.
He needs a name. And you've got BT up in the house.
Hey, good morning.
BT, are you
Elder Buster Brown.
Man, what?
All these names.
Oh, man.
Yeah, mine is, you know what mine is? The Elder Eagle Gertrude Ernestine Bethusa. Yeah, I got the worst of all.
Imagine that on the birth certificate.
Okay.
They're gonna charge you extra for ink.
Jib. Just jib.
They just call her you. Come here.
No, that's rude. That's very rude. So today we're here. Financial Fitness Friday is what we are. It was our name first. We love you, Kevin Hart, but it truly was. Check the DBA status. But we love you so much, and we're glad you're joining us. If you're listening in on the air, you're hearing the music, you're hearing the full scope of the audience. So that's the best sound quality. If you're watching us on YouTube, Hope Over Hurt Nation, we
Amen.
love you. Everybody wave at the camera over there.
Oh, over there.
And don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, do it, please. Say please.
Amen.
Please. In addition to that, we want to encourage you to sign up for the retreat coming up with Hope Over Hurt.
Yes.
Just at least keep us in prayer. The retreat is next month.
Yes.
That's all. We don't want nothing else from, but we're gonna be at the beach having fun.
June 8th, 9th.
June 8th, and 9th, having fun. Tanya, I think, is skating out of doing the fishing trip.
I'm not skating out. I'm just trying to figure out how to work it in. That's
But
all.
somebody's gonna be fishing.
I'm bringing my rod and reel.
Okay.
Regardless.
So somebody's
Along-
fishing Saturday morning.
Along with the sound equipment, I'm bringing my rod and reel.
You're gonna put the sound equipment with the rod and reel.
I'm gonna have to.
You know what? You have such mischief upon you right now. I just say, I look at you and you look mischievous.
No, I'm trying to figure it out. Really, I want to come down to fish.
Well, I'm gonna make sure I have the equipment so you don't have to.
Okay, we're gonna work that thing out there.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I'll bypass the scavenger hunt and go fishing.
You don't. The fishing is.
What? When's the scavenger hunt start?
It
No,
starts.
I'm taking the fish back home.
What time
Fish
does it
fry.
start?
Okay, so for those of you who want to, it's funny. The nosy and the inquiring ones are asking clues, and I've been really gracious to give them.
Why?
Well, because those who ask are competitive, probably. So I'll tell you this: I've considered releasing the scavenger because it's going to be like the Amazing Race.
Yeah.
The scavenger hunt is going to take you. It's going to take you some time. So I will say we'll release it at midnight.
When you say release, explain release.
That means those who are there early, who get there Friday, if they're there, just know you will have a way to receive your scroll with your team at midnight,
of
June 8th.
okay.
You gonna have an eagle just flying.
I just know you're going to have a way to get your information, and the scrolls will be released, and that's what this is going to be like. So I'm just saying, it's going to be fun, right?
gonna be
Keisha is going to lead a charge, amen?
All right.
Amen.
So,
That's
okay.
thrown again.
I know, right? I'm looking for. I'm really excited about seeing that happen. I'm excited about seeing the scavenger hunt
Okay.
because the things that are going to come from it are going to make me laugh a whole long time.
Mhm.
All right. Therefore, we're back with you, brothers. We're just having a little fun here, right? Oh, it's first Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Join us at HOH. Okay, clap.
Yeah. Church.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
What? Okay, so money is here. Y'all about to light us up. I'm waiting on you all to call in. Somebody's already being nosy. That's you, Brittany. I know it's you. 832-685-1025. Don't forget, we want your questions. We want to know what you're thinking, what you want to know. There's no dumb question. The idea that you don't ask could keep your money dumb.
True. That.
And guess what? That's what you don't want. So believe me, we want you calling. All right? All right. So go ahead. I'm going to take it away. Call in, ask your questions. They're back up. Chris, thank you for coming. Brian, thank you for coming. Let her rip.
Okay, as I was saying, so with the 401ks, another thing about them is they have a lot of hidden fees. So this is the other part, how they get you programmed into understanding
Thank you.
or being led to be butchered. It's through the hidden fees that you pay for, because when you have a 401k, you also have a fund manager who manages that 401k, and you are paying certain fees for that production or lack of production. So if you are one of those who are putting money in a 401k but not paying attention and not knowing what you're investing in, more than likely you are being led to also be butchered. Because it's your responsibility to understand what are you putting your money into. Number one, that is what you're supposed to be depending on
Right.
and being relied upon to survive in the future. So we always say the younger you has to take care of the older you. And one day your older you will look back on your younger you and say, why didn't you think about me? So walking around with blindfolders on and not paying attention, one day you will have to face that older you. And my job and my goal is to help you wake up. Just picture someone grabbing you by the shoulders and shaking you. And that's exactly what we want to do today, is wake you up so that you won't have to face that in the future. Now, how can you overcome that? And instead of having a stack or a pile of money that the world perceives you to have in the future, we want you to start creating cash flow. Because your 401ks does not produce a check for you.
Right.
What is it that you need to survive off of?
Right.
It's income. And you putting money into this investment or this tool, but it's not paying you anything. You cannot use that money when you need it. It's locked in a vault, and they are taking that money and they're using it to make money off of it. That's why they want you to be locked in for so many years.
Right.
So think about it. When you're ready to go, or when you need your money, you cannot pull it out. They tax you for it.
That's the deterrent. You can pull it out, but they
You feel
do
it
that
out
as a
as well.
deterrent
Yeah.
to keep you from pulling it
Yeah.
out.
You can pull it out,
That's
but they
yeah.
tax you for it.
Right.
So
Right.
how's that
So-
an investment?
I call that a stupid tax. If you're, and I'm not wanting to offend anyone, but I just want you to understand, when you put your money into that, and you're not knowing what you're doing, and you're paying these fees, and then at the end they're gonna cut you in half with taxes. My job is to wake you up and inform you. So, my brother here, Chris, we're gonna start off with some very fundamental ways of how to start creating some cash flow, checks coming into your mailbox, so that you can start creating this income on top of what are you stacking on the side.
Gotcha.
So with that,
That's good.
I'm gonna let Chris go ahead and hit the fundamentals of creating some
Right.
cash.
Chris, your face was everything. Just it was this look when she
And-
was like, "What?" No, it was Veronica.
Oh, Veronica, I thought
He
you
was
were
like,
about
she
Ed.
was like, "What?"
It's so much that they don't tell you.
True.
And Brian's hitting everything on the head.
Intentional.
Intentionally, yeah.
Yeah, they don't tell you.
So the reason why those agendas are pushed is because that's what makes the most sense between the two businesses.
Yeah.
The retirement fund is a business, and the corporation you work for is a business. And those money managers, like you said, they get paid for making decisions about handling your money. So every time they move your money around, whether
Yeah.
it's a good decision or a bad one,
Yeah.
they're making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's things that they don't talk about, like index funds that follow the whole market, and the market never goes back to zero. The market always goes up over
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Where they can just put your money in there and not have to pay a manager at all, and you'd be better off.
Them boogers. Them boogers. Them
Yeah.
boogers.
Right.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you.
And then at the end, like he was saying, I mean, all these tax laws and what happens to your 401k and stuff, that could, with every change of the Senate, every change of Congress, every change of the president, that can change.
Yes.
So they can start taxing you at 40-50%, you know. And he's right. So if you don't have cash flow, if you don't have other sources of income coming in,
Sure.
That's right.
then you're completely vulnerable to whatever they decide to do.
Right.
And then they've raised the age. They've raised the age of
They continue
retirement.
to raise it, yeah.
They are, and it's already, what is it, 67?
Something like
Yes.
that.
Yep. And if you try to take it out at the time you could have at first, now you're getting less of your money out of your 401k.
Right.
So,
Your hard-earned
so
money.
say you want to follow what your parents did. It doesn't work anymore. I want to get my money out early.
Yeah.
You can't do that without getting it lowered. So
Yeah.
say you have 40,000, you may get 30.
Yeah, that,
And on the like how he was mentioning, you know, they're using your money. They literally are, because what they're doing with their money is buying stocks.
sure.
Those companies get to use that money for whatever they want, you know.
Right. Right.
And so if those executives make bad decisions at those companies go under. That's part of what you've invested in, and you have no control over that.
That's true.
How come? Why don't we have control over it?
She's asking some good questions.
That's a great question. Because you know, have you ever heard like there's always an annual report given by a company? They tell at that time they tell you this is how good we did or how bad we did last year
Right.
with your money, and you really have no control over it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the old way of doing business is does not apply to the today's time. When I came up, it was 40, 40, 40. You work for 40 hours a week, for 40 years and retire 40%. That was based on the way the world was structured, or the economy was structured back then, where people had jobs that they had pensions and things of that nature. They took care of you. In other words, there was a vested interest in the actual person that worked. The company actually cared about you. That has changed over the course of 30, 40 years, and that doesn't apply now. It's the bottom line that they look for. They're looking to satisfy the investors. They're not looking to satisfy the person that did the work. They'll give you a watch, or they'll give you a turkey at the end of your retirement, or they'll just walk you out the door without giving you anything.
Yep.
Because I've known a person who worked over 30 plus years, and she had nothing. She hardly had anything invested, and they laid her off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you give your entire life to a company, and they don't have they don't owe you anything, because they figure they paid you that check. That's all they owed you. So if you're not smart enough or astute enough to understand what you need to do during the time frame, even if you are at a 401k, because I didn't know. I was kept in the dark. I was always told to max out my 401k, especially if they're matching it. Those are things I was told when I first started, and I did those things. Okay, but I was not told to go back and make sure that you knew where it was vested. I got the paperwork in the mail all the time. It was thick little book, and I'm like, I don't understand. It's it's like reading a legal jargon
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose, absolutely, to keep you in the dark, to keep you confused, and not wanting to know. You know what I'm saying? So we have to become more smarter, and that's why the millennials are not even interested in going this journey anymore. They're interested in staying and working from home and creating a cash flow, learning how to do things differently, opposite of what their parents did.
Right.
Which I can't blame them. I really can't blame them
No.
at all.
What's your thought? Because you're still almost a millennial.
Technically, I guess.
Yeah.
I believe like making your own decisions, finding something that you can personally put your money in,
Sure.
that's going to produce money every month. And the basic example is real estate and rental property, because you put your money in at one time, and then it can pay you over and over and over. Those are the types of things that you need to, instead of spending so much time and energy putting all your money into that retirement fund, you need to be creating your own real retirement fund.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's income coming in every month, and not you drawing off of one balance that you saved
Sure.
up over all this time with the 401k.
That will not last you to the day you die.
Precisely. Yeah, it may be 10 years, 15 years, but as the cost of living goes up continuously, and that money starts going down, eventually those two numbers are going to meet, and then you're going to go negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I think he was saying last week. He was like, this lump sum, you get excited about this lump sum. This is like a death trap.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when you are hoping that you don't outlive your money.
I
Because
can't-
you're
I-
living
yeah,
off that money. It's
yeah.
steady going down and you
Yeah.
steady have needs.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any cash flow, you're living off that lump sum of
Yeah.
money that is continually
Going down.
depleting. So-
Can I bring it to a point that's a commercial, that's something that may make it even more relevant as well? There's a commercial out there, and I'm not to say the company, but they basically sit down and they're showing you these people who really are taking the time and the care to make sure you know what your money is doing. And they basically are showing them, this is what you'll need for your life. This is the goal amount you will need to live on. Y'all know the commercials.
Absolutely.
And they're like, is that it? I can do that? You can do that. Right? And so they're saying, oh, you can get this boat. Oh, okay, you can pay for college for your child. And then, yes, this is what you can live upon to your end of days. These people are sitting here saying, this is what we estimate you will need, taking into account inflation that's unknown,
True.
hoping that you can stay in a decent tier 3 maybe retirement facility. It will not most likely be, unless you're very wealthy and you're living in the over $250,000 a year annual salary, then you can pay for a tier 1. But you're talking about people who are going to have to just, completely change their life, lose their home, sell their homes, too much home, too much yard, too much care, too much upkeep, downsize. Okay, now we're into a retirement community. Now we're living longer, but we're losing our memory, dementia, our sugars are not being handled. So we're going into dementia and autism. Much of it, not autism, excuse me, dementia and Alzheimer's, which we believe, of course, is connected to diabetes 3, right? So we're not eating totally better, but we're living longer. And here we are in these places, and these financial planners are saying, hey, 300,000 should do the trick. And then you're looking, as you're into these new facilities, you're listening to these people, and not saying they're bad people, but now what happens? What if the money runs out? And then you're saying, will this be enough? You're actually having someone sit across from you and make the kind of decision that says, will this be enough for me till I die? That's really the conversation.
That's it.
And if you're comfortable with that, without saying, what is Brian and Chris talking about? How cash flow? So I need to keep money pumping in so the lump sum isn't, even though, wait, it's a big lump sum. But if you're doing nothing with it, and I think I'm gonna let y'all take it from there.
Yes, and that's absolutely right. And I want to tap into the part when you talked about the commercial, because that's part of the programming. That's part of the deception with where they get you.
Yeah.
So you see these commercials, and most of the commercials that you see that are financial are elderly people on the beach holding hands. See, they have you, that's the part of the programming to get you to believe that is what retirement is. And as you remember last week, if you were tuned in, I talked about retirement is not that. Retirement is once you have your cash flow
Exceed your-
your income
right.
from your job, that's when you consider you can actually retire at that moment.
Yeah.
So, but society says, no, you need to work 40, 50 years. So change your perception of what retirement is and create the cash flow, the income, so that you can retire at any age. And how can you do that? Here's a simple example. Let's say you go out and purchase a rental property. You buy it at $60,000. The market, once you rehab it, fix it up, you sell it for $100,000. You gain $40,000 worth of equity in that property. Let's say your mortgage is $1,000, and you put a tenant in that house, and you charge $1,500 for rent. So you have a $500 cash flow. Now you take that house and you assign that to your car note. Okay, house, you're gonna pay my car note. Then you go out and you purchase another property. Let's say the numbers are the same. Your second house, you produce another $500 cash flow. Okay, house, you're gonna pay my utilities. So now I don't have to go to work to pay my car note,
All your utilities.
nor do I have to go to work to pay my utilities. I got my investments
Yep.
that are producing the income, so I don't have to go to work to do that.
Right.
He's popping. He got something. I feel it. I feel
Oh
you
no,
percolating. You percolating.
I'm amening over here.
Yeah. Well, I say you always send your money out to work and bring back friends with it.
Assignment.
Yeah, you send it out to
Remember.
work and bring back friends with it, and that's the whole goal. So that's the perfect.
Bring back
Never
friends.
thought. Yeah, but I never thought about it assigning it to a bill. That's a good.
Remember, we are managers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Once
yeah.
you understand how God and what God created you to be,
Right.
now you take your money and you assign it.
Mm-hmm.
You are to manage that money and
That's good.
assign it so that it can continue to produce
That's good.
income for you.
Mhm. Plus, you have the tax benefit, the tax write-off of the house, both houses. So think about that, because now you're a entrepreneur basically. So you have those tax benefits that you can write off when you at the end of the year. So it's not a liability now. The
Right.
house is really an asset to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my 2 cents.
You have a
right
question.
And plus the equity
I have a
there. Yeah,
question.
of course, you have
continued
equity,
to build
absolutely.
up.
So here's a question. Intriguing mind wants to know, so how do you go about finding a property as in someone that's just starting?
The easiest way to get into a property, just starting out, is to work with a real estate agent. Real estate agents are licensed professionals in the industry, and they can look at different markets and tell you what the home values are and what the rents are in that area also, because those are the two important numbers. You got to know what you can purchase it for, what their mortgage payment is going to be, which is, that'll be with the real estate agent helping you find a lender, and then once you get that mortgage, how much you can rent it out for every month. And more specifically, I want you to get a realtor that's investor friendly, because if they deal with investors, then they know how to find the deals, or they know how to find stuff that may not even be listed on MLS, because they have networks with other investor friendly deal finders, which are called wholesalers.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
Yeah, and so they can find the type of deals that Brian's talking about. With you can get them with 30 or 40% equity, because they're getting something from someone that may have a need to sell a property quickly.
Gotcha.
So if they're
Smart.
just getting started, they get with the real estate agent, but what will it take? I mean, what's the best case scenario and the worst case scenario that they would need to come out of pocket, because it's going to take some capital?
That's a tricky question, because sometimes in certain cases, which is that'll be a whole different show, you can get a property with hardly any money out of pocket, and there's certain lenders that will buy a property that they will give you the funding to buy a property that needs a lot of work, and give you the money for the rehab of that property. You just have to be under a 70% number, meaning what you buy it and pay to get it fixed up has to be less than 70% of what it will be worth when it's complete. And so then you can do that with little money out of pocket, and then refinance into a typical mortgage.
Conventional.
Ooh, do you
That's
see?
good stuff right there.
He's giving you stuff, Intriguing Mind, on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Good
That's
stuff.
this
That's,
is
that's another whole show. I mean,
You see?
Yeah,
It
that's-
is.
yeah, another show.
this is me when he's saying I'm doing this.
Financing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Because if you're listening, and you know what I think? Can I tell y'all the truth? I think that people are afraid to call
You think?
because they don't know how to ask
Ask
it.
the question.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to know. I don't know how to word it, so forget it. We give up so quickly when it comes to finance.
Yeah.
You have a question? Dun 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 dun. Call in. Hold on. Let me act like it's phone call.
I was wondering, how do we go about learning more about real estate? Like how it works.
Okay.
So this way we can actually have the confidence and the courage to make an investment.
Okay.
Good question.
Good question.
The
Hold on. I'm just gonna look at them both and go.
You can sign up for his class.
Ooh, no, you teach it too.
I do.
That's the
I do.
collaborative effort.
Yeah.
If we're really about community, we change the narrative collectively.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what I was gonna say.
Hold
yeah.
on, that kind of was a swing. Good answer. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, look at every word.
Yeah.
Collaborate,
Yeah.
community,
Mhm.
collectively.
Mm-hmm.
That's success.
Mhm.
That's what our
Seeds.
people did before this.
Mhm.
How can we really make that happen? And I was in a meeting yesterday, Chris,
Mhm.
and that was the question, was like, we don't want to keep talking about the same issues. It was a
Right.
roundtable press luncheon.
Mhm.
But what are we going to do now? So we're talking about who's going to write the playbook, where are the quarterbacks,
Mhm.
who's going to be on the field. We had that kind of meeting because it was like, cut the cameras. What's really going to happen with this information?
Right.
So seriously,
Mhm.
that's why I looked at y'all and went,
Yeah. There are a lot of,
here's a question.
especially on the
The real estate.
yeah YouTube. There's a lot of networks on there. I mean, a lot of resources on there.
You didn't throw them to YouTube after I done said collective community.
Well, no. This is what I'm saying. And I'm working on my own platform right now too. So I'm doing a course.
There we go.
An online course where everything will be laid out step by step of how to get into real estate and
That's
a
good.
deep explanation of each different part of the real estate process.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because when you said something a minute ago about wholesalers, I've heard something about this before, which is that's a way of making money that people don't even know about.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and it needs to be explained as well because there's like a referral process in this thing where they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and I remember hearing about that. I went to one of them classes where you try to flip houses,
Uh-huh.
and it was one of those things where they want you to make a huge investment in them, and I'm
Right.
like, nah, this ain't for me. So
Yeah,
but
upsell.
yeah,
Yeah.
upsell. So
Mhm.
I did take away something from it, which made sense. I'm like, okay, cool, wholesalers referring. I said that might be something to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would love to learn a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, no, wholesaling is definitely the process of being directly in contact with someone that has a need to sell immediately. So they're
Gotcha.
in some type of distress situation.
Gotcha.
Maybe he faced a foreclosure, tax sale, or something like that.
Gotcha.
And that property has a lot of equity in it.
Okay.
Enough for them to feel comfortable with whatever you're going to give them.
Mhm.
And then you can still make a little bit of money off of selling that property to somebody else a little bit higher than what you have under contract for with them.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, trying to it can, like, it gets really technical, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And then it's as simple as sometimes just sending a lead to somebody.
Yeah, that's the part I heard about sending a
Right.
lead and making money that way as
Right.
well. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's pretty cool. So when you send that lead, I mean you go out and found something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Then you can refer it away to a realtor
Exactly. No, or an investor.
or an investor.
An investor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm learning.
Yep. There you
All
go.
right, okay. Good.
And here's an example for
Right.
that. It could be like a property that you, as an investor, you may live in Sugar Land, but
Yeah.
you found a house that's in Humboldt that has the numbers look good.
Right.
You could go put a contract on that house
Okay.
and have an investor that's interested in that area. You can sell that contract to that investor.
Oh.
You make money off of it. 'Cause
So you
don't
lock
wanna-
it up first.
Right.
Oh,
And you sell the
okay.
contract to the investor. You may make 3,000, 5,000, depending on the numbers.
Gotcha.
That's
Look
how
at
it
the
works.
look at
That's
all the
wholesale.
people getting it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I have a question. That was it sounded like the Adams Family door opening.
did.
That
Okay, I
was
have two in
funny.
one question. Trying to make it quick. Foreclosure.
What is
What
it?
causes? Yeah. What is it? What causes it? And also, how do you really determine the value of a house? Is it based on looks?
She wasn't. This was.
Good
She was not
Yeah.
Great question.
present
Yeah.
for it.
That's a
Just
great
leaked last
Just-
week.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So a foreclosure is the process of a bank saying you have failed to hold up your end of the loan bargain.
Mm-hmm.
So they've loaned you money to purchase the house, and for some reason, it's usually after 3 months. If you can't make 3 mortgage payments in a row, then they'll start the foreclosure process and saying they're going to take the property back. And so that kills your credit. Does a lot of bad things, and it's crazy how you can save up money for so many years, put a down payment on a house, and after 3 months of a personal challenge,
Yes.
they take the property.
Take the
from you.
property back from
Yeah,
you.
take the property back from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd have made money on you
Yes.
for a long
lots,
time.
Lots of money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And most people don't
absolutely.
realize, like, when you do a 30-year mortgage, the first 8 years at least, the majority of that payment you're going
It's
to
just
do
towards the interest.
going towards interest. It's
Yeah.
not even going towards the principal
Principal.
amount on the
Yeah.
loan.
Yeah.
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 So, and then the second question was the value. So, value of a property is based off what we call comparable sales, which means what other properties in that condition are selling for in that area. So, a realtor will look and say, okay, you bought this house, it's 1,200 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, in this neighborhood, people have been willing to pay this for that property.
Right.
And that's how you find out what the value
They
is.
call that the comps on HGTV.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is short for comparable sales.
sales,
Yeah,
right.
they call it comp for short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I learned a lot on HGTV now. You know, I can watch all them shows,
Yeah.
all them beach
But it
shows.
sounds like we're gonna get some information rolled out from you soon.
Yeah.
And I actually might have some information that may help.
Okay.
I have some resources
Awesome.
that maybe could help roll it. I believe in collective.
Agreed.
Community? Yep.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Say it again.
Some
the
really
triple
good
C.
information.
Yes.
Collective community.
Yeah,
Wait, what's the first word?
collaboration.
Collaboration. There you go. Okay.
Isn't it better to get a 30-year mortgage but try to pay it off in 15? That's a question.
Well,
That is a very practical tactic.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Instead of starting out with a 15, just go straight to a 30 and 15.
Yeah, well, yeah, because when you do the shorter the term of the loan, the more the minimum payment is every month.
oh.
Whereas let's say on a 30-year loan, your payment may be $1,000 a month. Or well, if you do a 15-year payment, the payment will be like $1,200 a month or more. Whereas even at that $1,200, a lot of it's still going towards
Towards
interest
interest,
for the
right.
first few years.
Right.
But if you get that 30-year mortgage, but you pay a $200 directly towards the principal every month.
So amortization, does that
Yes.
work? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because you actually pay off the amount owed
Right.
directly when you pay above the mortgage payment,
It goes straight to the principal.
right straight to the principal.
Got you. Excellent. Okay.
So these questions are good. And do you feel like you're getting a financial fitness moment? You stretch your
It makes me
brain.
want to go look at. Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's your nature. You usually will
I'm visual.
go and do,
Yeah.
but you'll do. So that's the beauty, because someone who will do it, that's going to be the kick. And that's why we were talking about it's already made. He and I were supposed to be sitting down. We're supposed to have been getting together for HOH's collective. Whatever happened, Christopher Senegal.
Put him on the spot
Yeah,
again.
I mean,
Like not like really.
no, not just two.
Addition
Also.
to- Yeah, got you.
Well, what are we gonna do about it? We want to be able to have Good Morning Son that's landed on there. Yeah, we want to be able to do this so that we can make it attainable,
Man.
so that it can drive the momentum. If you make someone believe they can, then chances are they will.
Right.
Many people don't because they don't believe they can.
That's true.
And that's also with giving, right? So, yeah, so that's why this is really good. Okay, so any other questions before we wrap up? This has been Financial Fitness segment. You're looking at financial fitness folks.
No, I think they need to give their social media handles or whatever so that people know how to reach out if they need to and.
Did you just try to turn the mic?
I don't have it.
You do. You just don't use it. It's Healthy and Wealthy 15.
Wealthy 15.
There we go.
You need to start posting.
What? And that's what everybody's telling him, and he thinks it's something personal
website
with this
that
You have
guy.
our email that you want to be reached out to. Okay, my brother's always trying to be
Look,
shy.
no, but wait.
Go
Chris
ahead.
I have an
said,
email, but
I'll go.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We'll
Yeah,
get you tighten
absolutely.
up.
Yeah, Chris, thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so my Instagram is my main platform I use for like financial education and everything. So that's underscore INVSTR. So just think the word investor. Gotta take a few of the vowels out, and it's there. The other way that you can reach me is just chrissenegal.com, and then there's a link to all my social media.
Okay.
Like the
That's
guy
the best.
Senegal who was the actor.
And
And somebody already knows your Instagram handle because they put it out there for everybody else.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't.
Healthy and Wealthy 15.
No, they already did it. It's already
That
typed.
is.
You know, these are millennials.
So-
It's done. Like
Yeah,
it's
you
up
saw it,
already.
yeah.
They're not playing no games with you.
No, he's
They've
been waiting.
he's borderline baby boomer, so he don't.
We're gonna have so much more to give on this because
Yeah.
I want to make sure people understand also with that question that she asked. You never really want to pay off the mortgage because there's power in the leverage, especially in investment property.
Okay.
So that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother show.
Okay.
So we're gonna tap into that.
We'll
Do
see
you
you next
agree with
week.
that? Before I pray, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, as long as somebody else is carrying the cost of a part of ownership and you're getting cash flow, you never really have to pay it off.
That's good.
And you can continue to borrow against that money and reuse that.
Look.
over
That's
and
it.
over.
Smart.
For once, it made Keisha say,
Yes,
Ah.
smart.
Yeah.
Father, in Jesus' name, we come thanking you for expansion of our mindsets. We thank you for another day to get it right.
Yes.
In Jesus' name, we thank you we can rise up and pray. Resist the enemy.
Yes.
We thank you that our weekends are blessed. We thank you that our homes and our travels are already under your care. Continue to be with us, around us, and surround us, oh God. May your grace that is already sufficient be abundant, oh God. May favor surround us like a shield.
Yes.
May we leave right now, but never from your presence, knowing that we are loved
Yes.
and that there is hope. I'm Wendy J. Turner. This is Hope Over Hurts Prayer Family, and we love you. Say bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Until we meet again.